Good morning, everyone. We would like to thank our lecturer for giving us the opportunity to talk today. Before we start, let me introduce myself and my partner. My name is Nur Ain Zarifah Miti Hariri, and my partner name is Engku Nufarisha Eliana binti Engku Ahmad. My dear fellow friends, did you know how to have a simple backpacking tips? And did you ever travel around the world with a simple backpacking? Well, today we are going to talk about 6 simple backpacking tips. Allow me to define our rules. I will talk some 3 tips while my partner will talk another 3 tips for simple backpacking. My dear friends, my first tip is choose or pick the suitable destination for the backpackers. As a first-time backpacker, make sure the trail that you choose is appropriate for your skill. It is because you are familiar with the new trail. Also, for the first-time backpacker, you need to learn from the beginning. Next, you must check the weather before you pick or choose your destination. Make sure the weather is suitable you to go backpacker. After that, you also must know how to get back on your first trail. It is because when you did not memorize your trail, it is possibility that you will be lost in people's country. I have just discussed that my first point is it is important to choose or pick a suitable destination for the backpackers. My dear friends, now I shall now move on to my second tip, which is find and book a cheap flight. When we go to backpacker, when we go to traveling, everyone need a cheap flight, right? So it will be same to backpacker. They need a cheap flight for their long journey. Next, be flexible with your travel dates and time. It is because when you are traveling or backpacking during school holiday or public holiday, the tickets will be more expensive. In a nutshell, if you are flying when everyone is flying, then your ticket will be a cost more. So the solution is you must fly off season. The second tips that I have just discussed was clearly that we need to find and book a cheap flight to save the cost when you go to backpacker. My dear friends, now I will move on to my last tip, which is practice packing your backpack. The first one is you must keep your supplies dry, especially your sleeping bag. It is because when your sleeping bag is wet, it will ruin your trip, and I think no one wants crawl into a coat at the night. So that you must bring a waterproof bag, and the function of the waterproof bag is it will prevent from the water and from the wet. The second is do not overpack. For example, you just need bring a necessary thing only, like a simple t-shirt, sunglasses, a hat or cap, and most important is a long pant. A long pant will prevent you from the insect. So that I think my last point is quite simple, but if you choose to pack the wrong item, everything will be a little bit nasty. So that you need a checklist before you start packing your stuff to bring when you go backpacking. Now I will call upon Engku Nufarisha to continue with our presentation and explain 3 more tips for simple backpacking.
Thank you so much to Zarifah. Dear friends, my first point to have a simple backpacking is planning backpacking food properly. As a human, we need to survive our life by eat healthy food. So, if you want to travel at another country that has not sell any type of your main meal, as a Malaysian, you are recommended to bring your main meal like a pack of rice and also a pack of flour. Next, you need to plan your meal by making a schedule of what kind of food you like to eat on breakfast and others. You also need to look for lightweight version of your favorite food. It is because you can easily pack them into your bag, and this can help you to manage your weight of your bag. I have just discussed about how to planning your backpacking food. Dear friends, my second simple backpacking tips is get ready for your backpacking trips. You need to make sure your physical are ready by training a few physical activities before you go for your real trips. Next, you also make sure your mental are ready by pack your things early and make sure your things function before you go to the trips. I have just discussed about how to make sure your physical and mental are ready for your backpacking. Dear friends, now I will go on my last simple backpacking, which is we must travel in a group. If you are traveling in a group, you can distribute everything for each person in your group to find everything. Next, you also have someone to take your picture for memories. You need to learn a new language with your group member who are fluent with another language. I have just discussed about some benefits on traveling in a group. My dear friends, today my partner and I has discussed about simple backpacking tips. She has discussed three main points that are: it is important to choose a suitable destination. Second, find and book a cheap flight. Third, you must have a checklist before start packing. And I have discussed about how to planning your backpacking food. Second, how to make sure your physical and mental are ready. And the last one is about some benefits on traveling in a group. My dear friends, let me end our presentation by quoting Anthony Bourdain, who said, "Travel is not always pretty, it's not always comfortable, but that's okay. The journey changed you, it should change you. It leaves mark on your body, on your memory, and on your heart. You take something, hopefully you leave something good behind." With that, we end our presentation. Thank you. My dear friend, do you have any question? We would be happy to answer any question. If not, we will end our presentation now. Once again, thank you for being such a wonderful audience. It has a great honor and pleasure for us to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you.